Hey everybody, welcome back to Joe Sins for Elvis Photos. A little bit different backdrop. It's still set up for the music videos we were shooting for Freedom. You probably saw that get posted. So I've been so busy, as y'all know, and I appreciate the comments you've been leaving still. You might be part of the Facebook Joe Sins for Elvis Photos, and we're going to read some Child Bride in just a moment. You might have seen that some of the videos that I did went viral. It was nice to see that. One of them had 2.6 million views. A couple others, 300,000, 400,000. And then Freedom, which is just the most recent ones, at about 40 or 50,000. But a lot more views on Facebook than YouTube, obviously. So where do we leave off for Child Bride? I think we're on page 308 or 309. Thank you to you new subscribers, new members, and for those that have left super thanks lately, I appreciate that too. Let's get to reading. We're at the bottom of 309. Priscilla made her first career breakthrough that spring when Meryl Grant, who produced the popular That's Incredible series, asked her to audition for the part of co-host for a new television series called Those Amazing Animals. The three producers of the shows, Grant, Alan Landsberg, and Woody Frazier, were putting together a trio of hosts for an animal variety show similar to That's Incredible and hoped to appeal to a wide range of viewers. They had selected country western singer Jim Stafford for folkiness and Burgess Meredith, Rocky. Gotta kill him! You know, they'll probably get in trouble for saying that on YouTube. But Burgess Meredith from Rocky, you know, that's Rocky's coach, a trainer, as the authority. And they wanted a female co-host who was a Kathy Lee Crosby type, as Frazier phrased it. Pretty but straight ahead. Now, their first choice was Bo Derek. A good choice, a better choice. Flushed from her success in 10, but she wanted too much money, said Frazier. She was pretty hot then. Someone, Alan Landsberg had no memory of who, but it was someone that suggested Priscilla Presley, whom several of the staff had seen on The Mike Douglas Show and Donahue when she was promoting her boutique. And the producers jumped right on it, said Frazier. Now, they sold Priscilla to the network based on the Presley name, something that irked her, recalled Mike. Well, come on. I get it. I get how it can irk a person a little bit. And you know, I'm not a big Priscilla defender. Y'all know that for a while I did feel bad for her until I started to find out kind of all the things that we found out through Child Bride, as well as with her relationship with Lisa, and some of the more revealing things that which we haven't even really talked about that. Stuff that's in the lawsuit, stuff that I actually talked about prior to the lawsuit being filed. I talked about it 2 years ago when Lisa passed away. The huge rift that was there. Lisa was actually was trying to sue Priscilla, that wanted to sue her mother, but Riley stopped it. They were estranged. So Priscilla has been trying to get away from the Presley name forever and be important and be somebody herself. The thing is, it's not that Priscilla or anybody that's not Elvis has a worth. They do. We all do. But you can't compare, when you're compared to somebody like Elvis, who nobody will ever be a better singer, in my opinion, and I think a lot of y'all's. Great actor, best looking guy in the world probably that ever existed. When people are comparing you to that or tying you into it, first off, you should be thankful that you're even getting an opportunity. I'm thankful. I mean, I know that, you know, my subscribership, yeah, I know a lot of you talk about liking my music and you just discovering it and stuff. But y'all wouldn't have heard it for the most part, probably, if it wasn't for my love of Elvis and my channel. So I get her frustration back then and maybe even now. Maybe she thinks, oh, it should be Priscilla, you know, even now. But really, she would be nothing if it, in this world, entertainment-wise, if it wasn't for Elvis. And she needed to embrace that, in all honesty. And she still needs to, and she refuses to, all right, here we go. Back to this. Her thing was that she wanted to get out from the shadow. She'd say, everywhere I go, every casting I go on, whether it's Charlie's Angels or Willa Balsam or whatever, it's all leading into Elvis. And this is Priscilla Presley. And that is who she created. The producers and the network had their own concerns. They were not particularly worried about Priscilla's lack of experience the format could cover for an amateur. As Landsberg puts it, as a co-host, Priscilla merely had to introduce clips of interesting animal stories and recite a few scripted live spots in front of a studio audience supported by Meredith and Stafford. Their anxiety, Fraser recounted, was, could she read? Would she have the energy level? Priscilla, commented Landsberg, did not have a magnetic personality. In the beginning, we had our problems, Fraser admitted, of Priscilla's performance. We had to go through many takes. Now, the network was very nervous after the first taping. I remember we got lots of notes back, said Fraser. Now, she persevered. The show debuted on August 24th, 1980 in the 8 p.m. Sunday slot and received good ratings, which, reassured the networks. Priscilla, they discovered, had a curiosity factor. Yeah, Elvis's ex-wife. Especially back then, everybody would have been curious. The mother of Elvis's daughter. The daughter that they knew about. Y'all know that I do believe that Desiree is very, very highly likely Elvis's daughter. First daughter. That's another video, another story. Okay, so there was a curiosity factor that motivated people to tune in, eager as Priscilla had discovered with Beeson Bow to gawk at Elvis Presley's ex-bride. Let me go back to it real quick. Click on Joe Sin's Rare Elvis photos. If you're interested in this, what I talked about, Desiree, potentially Elvis's other daughter, you need to go click on Joe Sin's Rare Elvis photos if you haven't watched the video series. And watch Are You Lonesome Tonight, the video series with Derry Matera. And I've got a series of interviews with Derry Matera as well. We're going to have him back on here soon. Going to have Melissa on too. She was our very first guest. She just had a birthday, celebrated a birthday. She has all Elvis-themed pictures and videos from it. So we'll have to have her on here soon. Back to Prissy. What's that last name? Oh, yeah, Prissy Bobblehead. Okay, so they went through a bunch of takes because she was okay at reading for the most part, it sounds like, but she didn't have a whole lot of personality, and she did not have a bad camera angle because her face was perfect. Now, some of y'all don't think she's attractive nowadays with all the surgery, but she was a very attractive person. One of the reasons why Elvis, Elvis was attractive. I think he knew he was very attractive. I don't think that he made it as a weapon versus people. But I think if you hear it hundreds and thousands, millions of times, you're attractive. So sometimes you're attracted to somebody that might be your equal, your opposite. And Priscilla was a beautiful person. She was, in my opinion. And that's why they were trying to choose her for TV, because the curiosity factor, it wasn't about Priscilla's talent. They were trying to overlook her lack of talent to make money off of her. Priscilla marketed herself as the commodity that she was becoming, doing a TV guide cover, meeting the local press in various cities to promote the show. The reporter who interviewed her for the Washington Star found her, as Bob Costello had, exceedingly nervous and quick to defer to her handlers. Priscilla embarrassed herself a few times, once referring to calves, baby calves, as veal, in a discussion of animals, but no lasting damage was done. Alan Landsberg assessed her quite astutely as a woman with a sensible attitude who knew her own limits. Priscilla, he perceived, would not be auditioning for Lady Macbeth. She was, however, trolling for a dramatic role now that animals had, in her view, provided her with a comfort level in front of the camera. She commissioned her ambitious manager, Joel Stevens, to comb the possibilities for Animals was a formatted variety show, and Priscilla, she wanted to act. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Priscilla, it says Priscilla Presley, but we know it's Priscilla Bobblehead, had become a bona fide Hollywood personality, flitting from audition to audition, leaving Lisa. I might have to write a song called Leaving Lisa. Remind me. Because I go through so many songs and stuff all the time. I wrote a song earlier today. Leaving Lisa, that's a good song. So she left Lisa in the primary care of who else but the alleged abuser, Michael Edwards. I gotta say alleged. We all know what I think, what y'all think. Who had become a house husband of sorts. Now Lisa, Dee Presley said critically, didn't have the mother she needed. Excuse me. She needed her mother when her mother was out pursuing a career. The task of ferrying Lisa back and forth from her Scientology school and of entertaining fell to Mike, who was, said Dana Rosenfeld, an absolute doll. Dana really liked Mike. Of course, Dana Rosenfeld likes Mike, or liked Mike, and also Priscilla. Has nothing bad to say about Priscilla from what I've read so far. Now, Dana is Lisa's childhood friend. So, Mike was an absolute doll. We had so much fun with him. He was great. He was the ultimate friend, a positive spirit to be around all the time. Unbeknownst to Lisa or Priscilla, Mike found himself increasingly attracted to Lisa. Then she was a pre-adolescent, really. Though she considered herself, he would later say, funny looking. So Lisa thought she was funny looking. She was a picture of Elvis is what she was. This marked the beginning of a mother-daughter competition that would carry through Lisa and Priscilla's relationship. It was difficult for Lisa, as Mike observed, to be the daughter of Elvis Presley, a popular icon. And a mother who was always a picture of perfection. I don't know if we ever think about that, but Elvis, who everybody considers the best looking guy in the world, and Priscilla, who a lot of people consider one of the best looking girls back in the day. Best looking woman, until she messed her face up with a cheap plastic surgery. Always went out, made sure her makeup was right, her clothes were perfect. That's a difficult thing for children. And Lisa had it from both sides, even though her father had passed. While Lisa as a child was cute, she did not begin to possess the rare beauty of Priscilla, who had already captivated a rock star by the time she was 14, through the sheer power of just her face alone. Lisa went through a phase of copying Priscilla, recalled Mike. She was always like, "Oh, you're so beautiful, Mommy." They had their quiet, wonderful moments in Priscilla's bathroom. They just sat there and talked and shared a lot of things, Lisa remembered. Daisy Rosenfeld would sit. It's funny, reading like an AI. They just sat there and kind of shared lots of things. Lisa remembered Dana Rosenfeld would sit on the floor when her mom would get ready to go out and just look at her mommy and sit and talk while she was putting on her makeup, setting her hair. She knew that her mommy was beautiful. She would look at her and say, "Mommy, my mommy's so pretty." Lisa went to Dana's house one day carrying a hairbrush for Priscilla, saying, "My mommy paid $25 for this hairbrush because her hair is so beautiful." $25 for a hairbrush? 1980? Ain't no hairbrushes I know that cost $25 these days. That was her problem, always overspending. She didn't have to have all these roles and make this money and do all this stuff. She was comfortable enough from the estate to be able to take care of Lisa, but doing stuff like that, I mean, I'm sure she flew first class and all the other stuff, so she wasn't bothered by people. I don't know. Priscilla enrolled with Mike in an acting class taught by Milton Katselas, a respected LA drama teacher who was also a Scientologist. Although she tried determinedly to perform the exercises in class, Priscilla could not break free from her inhibitions. And that was to Mike's continuing frustration. Michael Edwards, not Mike Stone. I directed her in a scene in class, he said, and I remember the scene. I said, just rip that apart. Don't be afraid to let your face slide off. Priscilla could not do it. She and Mike attended a costume ball at one of the LA art museums that year, where they met a genial young British artist named Brett Livingstone Strong, and they became close friends with Brett and his wife. The setting was appropriate for Priscilla, for as Brett recalled, they were all wearing masks. Brett Strong was a great connector of people and had a number of friends in the music industry. Now, he introduced Priscilla and Mike to Russell Hitchcock of the rock group Air Supply. Air Supply, wasn't that the I'm all out of love, I can't live without you? I think that's the song, Air Supply. The only song I know of them. I don't know the rest of the songs, but good song there. Priscilla became close to both Russell and his wife Paula, though through Brett, Priscilla also met and befriended Graham Russell, another member of Air Supply. I'm the one who introduced everybody to everybody, Brett would later joke. Now, Priscilla's acting career and social life were put on hold that December when the Presley estate became embroiled in a headline-making controversy over Colonel Parker's commission arrangement with the executors. Earlier that year, the probate judge presiding over the Presley estate, Joseph Evans, appointed a young, feisty Memphis lawyer named Blanchard Toole, T-U-A-L, as Lisa's guardian ad litem, a standard procedure in a case involving a minor. Let's see here. I lost the page. Yeah, maybe that's where we stop for a second. Actually, I'll read a little bit more. Okay. Toole, representing Lisa's interest as sole heir, took it upon himself to conduct an exhaustive investigation of Elvis's estate and was appalled to discover an earlier agreement between Colonel and Elvis that gave Elvis's manager 50% commission on everything the singer earned in an industry where 10% was the standard agent fee. Toole was even more disturbed to find that Vernon Presley had carried the Colonel's arrangement over to the estate, contracting to pay Parker 50% of any earnings Elvis generated after his death. Now, shortly after Toole was appointed in May of 1980, the co-executors Joseph Hanks, the Bank of Commerce, and then Priscilla, along with their attorney for the estate, Beatrice Smith, submitted a management plan for the court approval. In it, they requested that Judge Evans approve the continuation of the Colonel's 50% split. The genius businesswoman that Priscilla was, she wanted to keep giving Colonel Parker 50%. And everybody, well, not everybody, folks on her side that jumped to her defense say she saved Graceland. She was the genius behind all of it. No. The next section that we read about with Blanchard Toole is going to open up a lot of eyes. Just that section alone, right there, that her, the Bank of Commerce, her attorneys, put together an agreement to keep Parker earning 50%. Now, y'all have heard me talk in the other videos that at one point in time, even though it's not industry standard became 10%, not necessarily back in the 50s. You could get a bigger chunk back then, but usually you had to split up with booking fees, all this other stuff. Colonel Parker took a bigger chunk and then delegated out fees for that stuff. Do I think Colonel Parker was ever worth 50%? I do think he was worth 50% in the beginning and for a while. But should it have been back down to 25% or 30%? Perhaps. At no point in time do I really ever think Colonel Parker was only worth 10%. And the reason why I say that is because Colonel didn't have any other artists. Other managers, they get 10% of this artist, this artist, this artist. They get 4, 5, 6, 7 artists. They're splitting their time and energy. Colonel Parker lived and breathed making money, which was good for the business of Elvis, not good for the person of Elvis. And obviously, you can see there that Priscilla Presley knew he was good for money, not for the business of for Elvis the person, even though Elvis had passed already. Colonel Parker used to make I Love Elvis pins, and also I Hate Elvis pins. Anyhow, thanks for joining me, and thanks for being patient. I'll get on here as much as I can. I'm still cutting more records. I've got a country record that we're about to release, but I'm also cutting a record with my wife that's more rock, more alternative rock and pop. I have a lot of different styles. Y'all know, jazz trumpet player. At some point in time, I'm going to cut a jazz record, trumpet wise. But I still will be coming down. I've got this set up. I'll probably leave this set up for music videos, and maybe this is where I do all my reading. Let me know if it's okay with you. I do have the chairs down there, but if the less I've got to do to hop into a seat and do reading, probably the more videos I'm going to make. TCB TLC. Until next time, thank you so much. Thank you for all your support here over on the Facebook. I don't know whether that's what that channel is gonna be. I just happened to load a video because I felt inspired to write something for the Charlie Kirk, Charlie's Message, that went viral, 2.6 million plays and views. Wasn't premeditated. My wife was very sad. You saw me come down and do the video that day, talking about it. And I wrote the song in bed that night, wrote the lyrics part of it, got up next morning, played it on guitar, and cut it and put it out. So anyhow, TCB TLC, till next time, thank you so much for being you. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families. Make sure that you love everybody and that you do not settle for somebody that doesn't love you, okay? Friends that ignore you. Stand up for yourself, okay? And yeah, be well.